chances are a lot of you watching this video, you have probably experienced some type of isolation. You could be isolated right now, and I just want to let you guys know the pros and cons of this.
In today's video, we're going to only react to one video. It is quite long, but it's about loneliness and how loneliness has changed people today and has made people see things in a different light. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I feel like since 2020, a lot of us have kind of fallen into this mindset, and it's because we all were isolated at a certain point for a long period of time. Some people, you know, had more friends or people around them during 2020. When I was living in Toronto in 2020, I was in a bachelor apartment, a basement bachelor apartment, right? With just one, it was basically just one big room. And the pandemic hit. I was away from family and friends. Didn't really have any visitors or anything like that for a while, and it was pretty lonely. But ultimately, I leveraged that to my advantage, and I think I actually came out stronger than I've ever been before. But it definitely came at a cost, and you learn a lot from being in places and situations like that. So with that being said, let's dive into it today.
Time is speeding.
So, I'm going to tell you guys something right now. I have lived probably half a decade, not right now, but in the past, in what I would consider some pretty extreme isolation. So I'm going to explain to you guys the pros and the cons of what it has done to me. And yeah, because chances are a lot of you watching this video, you have probably experienced some type of isolation. You could be isolated right now, and I just want to let you guys know the pros and cons of this. So basically, I'll tell you this right now, you will never be more focused in your life than when you're at rock bottom, when you're in isolation. You will never have more peace in your life.
That's true, and I pretty much was at rock bottom during the start of the pandemic. But I used the time to my advantage to try to grow myself. And I think a lot of people probably have done that as well. But if you haven't, it's never too late, and you can learn from these experiences and learn from this video.
When you have this environment where it's a lot of isolation, you have room to think, you have room to visualize, you have room, space, and time to think of the best ideas you'll ever think in your entire life. You'll get to know who you are much better, because if you're around all the noise, you can't think for yourself. You get caught up in everybody else's thoughts and everybody else's ways of thinking and doing and everything else. Like, for example, in school. I wasn't isolated in school. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of stuff going on. Family life, everything else, sports teams. You got the bros, you're partying with the guys, or the girlfriend at the time, so, you know, you can kind of get lost in all that stuff. And once you lose everything...
I think people will have a much harder time getting out of high school if the best days of their lives were in high school. At least that's the way that their mindset works. That's the way they think of it, where they had a lot of friends, they were socializing all the time, and they never really set their life to a path that actually leads to any prosperity. And if you get into a place like that and then you also find yourself isolated and lonely, it can be a dark place for some people.
You have this experience that you've never experienced before. Extreme isolation. You got to face yourself. You got to get to know yourself. And this actually happened to me because of a breakup. It made me realize I have to be the best version of myself, or I'm not going to be who I actually am. I believe I was chosen for something very specific, and I had to live the life that, you know, God has put me on, whether I liked it or not at certain times, because that is what life is. There's definitely pros and cons to being isolated. Like, it's, I don't know, some people do not handle it very well. I would consider myself somebody who's handled it very well. I dug down deep. I put in the work. I went to work.
There's also two different distinct types of people, right? There's introverts and extroverts. If you're an introvert, it's probably good, but ultimately you kind of need interactions from time to time, even if you are an introvert, because it's healthy and you don't want to be lost too much in your own head as well.
With myself, and I never felt sorry for myself. I never felt, there might have been one day in my life I actually felt sorry for myself, and it was just all these bad strings of luck and everything else. But I did not spend any time feeling sorry for myself. I used any of those thoughts that you could possibly even have. I use that as motivation. I don't just sit around being sad. I don't sit around thinking, oh, I should be doing fun stuff. I should be living my life. I should have all these friends. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I never thought that way. I just did the work. And when you do the work in life, you're going to make everything else make sense. If you don't do the work, nothing is going to make sense. You can't rely on people. I didn't even realize in the past that I was reliant on people, because you become so codependent that you have friends all the time. You got a girl all the time. You got family around all the time. You got people around all the time. So it takes losing these things to really realize who you are and what you're made of and where you stand. So extreme isolation, which means you don't have many people around at all, if anybody at all.
I also think about during the pandemic, the start of that, how much did people lose, right? Some people lost their business, their relationships, their jobs. And this is why a lot of people have to deal with this, or had to deal with this as well. The isolation, the loneliness, it really changes you.
I lived a few years of my life, no friends. You could say acquaintances, people you'd see at the gym or something, but I was not attached or close to anybody. I didn't have a best friend I could have called at the time. I couldn't really talk to family, even though we were cool. It just, we had our differences. So I felt detached and not close to anybody. Nobody. And all this happened because of a breakup I went through a very long time ago, and it set me off on the path that I went down, and it obviously happened for a reason. It's a weird feeling, bro, for a while when you're not used to it, when you're not close to a single person on planet Earth. Like, not a single person that you're close to at the time. I lived years like that, years. And I never thought something like that would happen to me. I didn't think so, because I'm someone that I can make friends quite easily. I could be a sociable person. But it did, but it happened for a reason, for a very good reason. You don't question the reason. You gotta let go of what seems to be it's not supposed to be like this. It very well could be like this. What you guys are experiencing right now could very well be the way it's supposed to be, even if you don't think so. You're being tested every walk of life, every step of life. You're being tested. If you're in a relationship and you really love this girl and it comes to an end, it happened for a reason. You can't question it. You can't think, oh, if I've done this different, could it have worked out? If I never did this, could it have worked out? Nope. No matter what you could have done, it would not have changed anything. Because not something that small is going to tear something apart that was meant to be. You just got to understand that. So basically, extreme isolation has taught me who I am. It has not done me wrong. It has not done me dirty. It has not caused me damage. It has done me correct. I think everybody should go through some years of their life where it's pretty much just them, and you got to focus on yourself. You got to dig down deep, and you got to become the best man or woman you can possibly be.
I think that a lot of people who've never lived on their own without any roommates or anything like that, or if they have never lived with their family, just I'm talking specifically living by yourself for like a year, without a lot of people coming over all the time, just it really changes your perspective on things. And ultimately, I do think that it creates a more resilient mindset in life, right? Because isolation and loneliness, they can be killers. But if you can use them to your advantage and have them be effective to you in your life, this way you're not always anxious. You're okay with being by yourself at times, which some people aren't. It just makes it so much easier to live through a life like this. But have you ever lived in a state of isolation and loneliness? If you have, leave your thoughts about this video down below in the comment section, guys. I really do think that those are words to live by. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.